It's on.
Shalom to everyone. Today we're learning Zera Shimshon, Parashat Pekudei.
Recording in progress.
Your Abochia, who's that? Mother's grandfather.
What's pronounced exactly? Can you help me? Starting again. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Hashem. You want to hold for Zoom? No. This is good. You want to hold for Zoom? Okay. Today, Zera Shimshon is being sponsored by aunt and mother of Mr. Ilan Davidov, Leilu Nishmat of their grandfather Abochio ben Sarah. Ruach Hashem tenichenu began Eden. V'chen yeh ratzon v'nomar Amen. Today's shiur, before we begin, I would like to share with you what we learned yesterday. Yesterday we had special shiur for couples, which is only happens once or twice a year. It's problem. We should make 4 or 5 times at least. But we made Bli Neder a deal. One before Lag BaOmer will take place again within 2 months. 2 months, 2.5 months. Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll throw you the date. Make sure you are here. Because these things, to recognize your spouse, your husband, your wife, your children, these tips we need every day. No, it's fine, it doesn't bother. And often we forget that Hashem gives us certain gift and we need to appreciate it. Sometimes when we appreciate Him, appreciate child, parent, father, mother, wife, husband, you see how Hashem is good to you to give you so many good gifts. And through them you connect to Hashem as well. We learned yesterday how male is called Zachar from the word Zekikar. This is bread finder. Man is to find bread. And Nekeva, Nekiaba. Nekiaba is woman who's taking care of the house. She cleans the house, she cooks for family, she takes care of family. This is a wife. Then we learn many points, Be'ezrat Hashem. As the time will come, Be'ezrat Hashem will make some proper recording that is not going to touch anybody, that less jokes, more seriousness, and we'll send it. Because yesterday, I think it was proper shiur. Everyone laughed, everyone got connected. But Be'ezrat Hashem, we will come up with some nice chidushim and we'll prepare another shiurim Bli Neder. For now, we're holding within 10 days. We're going to send second shiur for halachot nida. Remember I sent 3 weeks ago? The second one will come this week, within 10 days. Why? Why am I taking time? Because we need time to process this. When you get the whole ocean into the cup, within a week you forget everything. But when you get step by step, you grow and it stays solid with you. We need to know, before we start the Gemara, to have certain status in life, you need Hashem's support. There's sometimes person becomes very smart. To become very smart in life, you need Hashem's support. Some people say, I learned myself. I worked hard, this is why I know. No, not true. When person says, I, he forgets to say thank you to Hashem. Step number 1, Hashem makes you genius. This is, if you see very smart person, you need to know he's connected to Hashem. This is why Hashem put in him wisdom. There's second person. You see guy is not so smart but very strong. You need to twist certain heavy metal and he can do it. You need someone to pick up some heavy object and he's doing it like nothing to do. You need to know he's connected with Hashem, he's very close to Hashem, and Hashem gave him this strength. And you have to respect him for that. The third one is rich men. Some people say rich people have no chelek l'olam haba. Wrong. Not true. What do you think? Rich people become rich by themselves? No, they give maaser, they give tzedakah. They help other people. This is how they become rich. And rich people, Hashem has special siyata d'shmaya. Hashem has special love to him, special support for him, and this is how he becomes rich. And you have to respect him for that.
Oh, I never heard that before. Rich people have no headache.
Yes, Shomrim.
Be'ezrat Hashem will discuss this topic later. The fourth one is anav, humble. If person is humble, you need to know this guy is closer to Hashem. Now, let's look inside. Before we look inside, who are the four people I just mentioned? Number one is wise, strong, rich, humble. Who is a man who had all four categories in him?
Yosef.
Yosef HaTzadik was humble,
Rich.
smart, rich, strong?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? If he would be strong, Shimon wouldn't punch him.
Strong in other ways.
Noah.
Rav Shlomo! Thank you. Moshe Rabbeinu.
Oh, okay.
He was strong.
Moshe Rabbeinu had four categories in himself. Now let's look inside. Gemara Nedarim. Daf Lamed Ched Amud Aleph. Gemara Nedarim in page 38a says, En HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashre shchinato ela al. Hashem puts his shchina, Hashem puts his wisdom, Hashem puts his divine presence on the head of four type of people. Chacham, wise. Gibor, strong. Ashir, rich. Anav, humble. Vekulam mi Moshe. All these we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Dichtiv, it says Gabei HaMishkan. When Moshe Rabbeinu was building a Mishkan, it says Vayfroz eta ohel. Moshe Rabbeinu set up the tent. Which tent? Of the Mishkan. Moshe Rabbeinu put up the tent of the Mishkan. Va'amar Mar, the master said, Moshe Rabbeinu pilcho. Moshe Rabbeinu set it up. Ve'dilma, maybe, aroch ve'katon haya. He was tall and small. Tell me one thing. Can you be tall and small at the same time?
Yes.
Tall and humble.
Small.
But katon.
Katan meaning
Piresh Rashi. Rashi explains. Aroch bekoma. Moshe Rabbeinu was tall in his height. How high Moshe Rabbeinu was?
10 feet.
10 amot, 5 meters. In 1 meter, how many feet do you have?
3. He was not 15. He was 15 feet tall.
3 feet and 1 meter.
How many?
2
Not
meters,
true.
2 meters, 1 foot.
1 meter is 3
No,
feet?
that's 1 yard.
That's 1 yard. That's 1
That's
yard.
yard.
That's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. 1 meter. So that's 3 feet.
3.5.
3 feet, 3
That's
inches.
too much, alright.
Moshe Rabbeinu was 17, 18 feet.
Yeah, 3.37. So
Moshe Rabbeinu was 18 feet. 18 feet tall. Huh?
Two floor.
Kevai.
Two floors.
Who is this? Mr. Nerio Kalantarov. Because you Kalantarov, I'm not going to argue with you. You got it. Moshe Rabbeinu was 2 floors. In 2 floors, you have only 6 meters. Fine. He was 10. I'm sorry, 5. Moshe Rabbeinu was 5 meters. 2 floors, okay, fine. I cannot argue with this guy. He's a good guy, and I'm not going to argue with him. Okay. So Moshe Rabbeinu was tall. Katon means not small, he was weak. So Rashi says, Aroch bekoma, tall in his height, vekaton bekoach, small in his strength. Moshe Rabbeinu was weak.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
Tell me one thing. Can person put up Mishkan when there's 100 beams there?
If he's weak, if he's weak, no.
Even if he's strong. Can you pick up 100 beams at once?
No.
And there is other 10 different materials involved.
Copper, gold, metal.
Copper, gold, metal,
Turquoise, scarlet.
silver, materials, skin, this, that, all together. Can you set it up yourself? Even though you're strong man.
He tried, but he caught it, I heard.
Chimigo. Guys, thank you for your opinions. You are the best. But at this point, we should mute ourselves. Pirush Rashi. Aroch bekoma vekaton bakoach. Moshe Rabbeinu was tall in his height and weak in his strength. Reb Nissim, you okay? 2 seconds, okay, I'm waiting for you. Ad kan leshono. Until here is Rashi's explanation. Marsha says, guys, whoever is willing to do certain hard step in life, and you have fear, I'm talking to myself, and you have fear, this Zera Shimshon will break through, that you will do the steps without fear. Tell me one thing. Who creates his own children? Who creates his own children? Anybody here? 100%. Nobody creates his own children. You cannot even make a tiny pinky of your child. You can't make a pinky of your child. You can't. So why would you get married then? If you cannot make a person, why would you get married? Hashem says, you do as much as you do, closer to the miracle, and the rest depend on me. I'll take care of the rest. If it's not closer to the miracle, it's not going to work. Has to be closer to the miracle. Today we'll understand what means closer to the miracle. Rabbi Ilan, you agree?
100%.
That's all. We'll go further. וכולם ממשה דכתיב גבי המשכן ויפרוס את האוהל ואמר מר משה רבנו פרשו משה רבנו spread it ודילמה ארוך וקטון היה. Maybe Moshe Rabbeinu was tall and skinny and weak. Huh? Why?
Somebody's asking for it.
Who's that?
Oh.
Akilov? For what?
I don't know. Your website, it's downstairs. You want me to phone here and he'll tell you what it's for?
Sure.
He's going to sell the property underneath you, Rabbi.
Guys, I'm sorry. There's something serious here. You know, these people at Tzaddikim, give me a minute. I'm sorry, I'm stopping the shiur. Sorry.
I had a quick question.
Sure, sir.
Whenever you spoke about Yosef Akilov not being necessarily strong,
I don't know, there's certain wire bothering me. Okay, good. Now it's good.
Look, Rabbi.
והמהרש"א כתב, אין מהרש"א wrote. Не видно ничего. Thank you. He's a good guy. What can I tell you? Rav Binyamin is a big tzaddik. And Maharsha wrote, בשם הראש, in the name of ראש, למה לא מביא הגמרא שהיה גיבור מקרא הקודם? Why Torah doesn't say that Moshe Rabbeinu was strong from the previous pasuk? דכתיב ויקום את המשכן, and Moshe Rabbeinu established Mishkan. He built it, he established, he put it up, put it down. ויפרוס את האוהל. And Moshe Rabbeinu set up the tent. say he built the Mishkan, he set up the Mishkan. We're talking about the tent. Why? Says Moshe Rabbeinu put up the tent and doesn't bring from the proof of the Mishkan.
To show his strength.
Vakrashim hayu kevedim. And the beams of the Mishkan was really heavy. Vetu lekel akshot kedei leel. And more than this we cannot ask for the to the above. V'iksha alau mai parich. And he's asking on that was the contradiction. Dilma benesaya. Maybe Moshe Rabbeinu built the Mishkan with a miracle. This is why we're not mentioning this. Anything has to do with miracle, we're not mentioning. Kedesamichle, as it says next to it, near it, Hukama Mishkan. And Mishkan was set up. Not Moshe Rabbeinu established it, but it stood by itself. The Hukam me'elau mashma. When we say something stood by itself, it means by its own, with a miracle. As it says in Midrash Tanchuma. Question to all of you. Who put up the Mishkan? Moshe put up the Mishkan or Mishkan stood by itself? The answer is Mishkan stood by itself. Mishkan stood by itself. What does that mean? Moshe Rabbeinu did a little bit job. The rest, Hashem did it. So once Hashem did the rest, we're not talking about Mishkan. But tent, Moshe Rabbeinu put up the tent and he set up the tent himself. Uldidan, according to us, and kan kushya ala Rosh. We have no questions on Rosh. The question is, why Moshe Rabbeinu is mentioned to be strong, that he built, that he set up the tent, and not that he built the Mishkan? Could be Mishkan was done by a miracle, and therefore Torah doesn't talk about it to prove that Moshe Rabbeinu is strong. Stop. Is Moshe Rabbeinu smart?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
This is why Rabbeinu, no? Is Moshe Rabbeinu strong?
Yes.
We're trying to prove that today. Is Moshe Rabbeinu humble? Vayish Moshe anao meod mikol ha'adam. Is Moshe Rabbeinu rich? When did he become rich? Parashat Kititza, when Hashem gave the tablets, Hashem said the extra parts of the rocks, keep to yourself. And that was a sapphire stone. Diamond is 1% value to the sapphire stone. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Sapphire is expensive stone. Karondum, okay. Now we cannot ask questions on Rosh. Why? Shafilu yad inan bevada shaya gibor. Even though we know for sure Moshe Rabbeinu was strong. Man lei malan shemishu gibor yachol la'arim levado elo akirashim. Even though, who can tell us that there's certain strong man who could pick up 100 beams at once and set it up? You cannot do that. Shayu kol kach kevedim, because they were so heavy. You know, 5 of those beams, 1 car. Can you pick up 4 cars at once? How Moshe Rabbeinu did it then? V'chitz al kedatach shemishu gibor. If you want to tell me that somebody strong yachol la'asot bekocho k'mo malach, you could do whatever angel can do. Ve'en achinami she'av mishu gibor yesh lo ketz u'gvul ligvulato. Can I tell you something? Person is strong, he's mighty. There's limits to that. There's some things he cannot do. He can't do everything. So how can Moshe Rabbeinu set up the Mishkan if it's impossible for a human to do? V'im ken, af al pi she'aya Moshe gibor, even though Moshe Rabbeinu was strong, haya tzarich siyur Elohi la'akamat elu hakelashim. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu was strong, he still needed Hashem's help to put up those beams for the Mishkan. Because even with a strong person's muscles, it's impossible to put it. We do our most what we can do. We get married, we go to the chuppah. Then we do our action. But childhood does, Hashem. We try to raise up the car. We try our best, and Hashem raises for us. There was a 7-year-old kid. His father wanted to show me what's under the car. Dankrat, how you say Dankrat? The car jack, something went wrong on it and it moved. And the car sat on the father, on his chest. 7-year-old boy saw that the father is dying. He tried to pick up the car little by little and pushed it away until it went down, then his waist, and then he called 911. They came and they said, how it happened? He said, my father was up to here, the car was on him up to here, and I had to move little by little. They said, stop. How did you do it? What did you use? He said, my hands. I said, what? They tried to ask him 10 more times to do it, he couldn't do it. At that moment, Hashem said, you try, I will give you the rest. Give me one case in the Torah. When someone tiny goes against someone mighty, and he begins, and Hashem takes care of it. David and Goliath. Bigger than that, Og. In Taimani, they say Gimel Gimel. Og Melech Habashan. Og Melech Habashan. He's not here today. He's there. Shimshon HaGibor. He's vaccinated. He is being. Pinchas. Pinchas also did. He killed Bilam. Bilam was flying in the air, you know, right?
Yeah, they had to pee on him, right?
Yes.
No, that's wrong guy. Wrong
Oh,
guy.
that
Rabbi, also the
Guys, you know this stuff better than me, huh?
Cosby and
Zimri and Cosby, he picked them up. He didn't have strength, but Hashem said, you try to do Ishtadlut and I'll help you. What do you think? To make money is easy? Now in Ukraine, there's war. How do you call war in Hebrew? Milchama. How do you call bread? Bread. How do you call bread in Hebrew? Lechem. Mi lechem, war. Mi lechama, war. Lechem, bread. Every person goes out to make money, he goes to war. He just, EBGB pretends to do something, but Hashem is the one who puts money from here to there, from there to there, from there to there. Gives you parnasa. Rabbi Ilan, you agree? 100%. Thank you. Hashem says, you start to do your action and I'll give you. When you make the most money, when you depend fully on Him. I do this, I. Hashem says, wrong. Go to Cooper Avenue, you'll see a lot of eyes over there sleeping. One next to another, and it's quiet, they don't argue. They're not rushing anywhere. Hashem runs the world. No one else. If you're young, 18, 19, 20, you're thinking to yourself, if one day I have to buy a certain house, and it costs $2 million now, then it's going to be 3 or 4, how will I make it? Hashem says, ha, you crazy? What are you worried about it? You learn Torah certain hours a day. You go to work certain hours a day and depend on me. I'll take care of you. You'll be shocked how you're going to have this money. Hashem runs the world, guys. I was thinking like this 25 years ago when I just came to New York. I said, me one day, having a house, having a normal work, and I don't know English? You kidding me? Hashem says, ha, you got wrong. Not you the one who's running the world. Hashem is running the world. But I'll tell you one thing. In life, you want to be successful? You should know you are only a half soul. Half. This way you give machatzita shekel, half. Because half of the humanity sinned. What is that? Man. Women didn't sin. Therefore they paid for men. When you get married, you got to respect your wife. You respect your wife. Every respect you give to your wife, Hashem showers you with the bracha. Showers you with the bracha. You become rich, you become wealthy. Your kids are successful. Because kids have respect when they see respect between parents. You respect your wife, your kids respect you and your wife. God forbid when somebody says to his son, don't listen to your mommy. Today he's not going to listen to the mommy, tomorrow he's not going to listen to the papi. And this is how it goes. I step on one, then I step on the second one. But when you show we have one voice, Ima said yes, yes, Ima said no, no. Abba said yes, yes, Abba said no, no. This is how it goes. Then family goes healthy. And this is how you become successful. We'll learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. We'll learn from Moshe Rabbeinu again. Og Melech Habasha. You know who was Og, guys?
Giant.
He picked up a mountain 8 by 8 miles. Do you know 8 miles is from here to New Jersey? It's 8 miles. From here to Brooklyn, 6 miles, 5 miles. To New Jersey, guys. He picked up a mountain. He said, Jewish nation, I'm going to put keep on you and you're all dead. Hashem said, oh yeah? Don't you know there's such a thing called Hashem Yitbarach? You do Ishtadlut and I'll take care of the rest. Moshe Rabbeinu touched him with his staff on his corner of his ankle. Tick! Og became powerless. And Hashem already prepared, 100 billion ants under the mountain to make a big hole. When Moshe Rabbeinu touched, struck him, okay, Og on his ankle, on the corner of his ankle, Og became powerless. The whole mountain sat on his head. He got strength. He says, I'm going to take and throw on them. Hashem said, I'm sorry. Hashem took his 2 teeth from the top, 2 from the bottom, threw the mountain, and pushed hard to him, on his face. He couldn't breathe. This one, he stopped breathing and carefully sat down with the mountain. This is how Og died. David HaMelech, later on in life, so it's all in prophecy. And he said, Hashem, Shinei Reshaim Shibarta, you broke the teeth of Reshaim. Gemara says, Al Tikre Shibarta, Ela Shirebavta. You didn't break it, but you extended like a rubber. His tooth, when teeth went like a rubber and squeezed them out on his face. And Og passed away. Guys, you'll never see such a big tzaddik in this generation like Rabbi Ilan. He says, look at the chesed Hashem did to Og. Hashem gave him a tombstone. You see? You know, even though I didn't know it's coming today, I would still give him a chidush. Why? Because he made one type of chesed to Avraham Avinu, even though chesed was not L'Shem Shamayim. You know what, right? He showed to Avraham Avinu about Lot. Guys, it's funny. Because Avraham Avinu saved Lot, we have Moavim coming up in the world, and David HaMelech, and Mashiach. Could be there's some tiny hand of Og for coming of the Mashiach. So now you know why some Rashaim are born. Because some Rasha helps Tzaddik in this world. You know, if you say everybody Rashaim should be killed, you never know. Some big rabbis, they were born in the hospital where Rasha is working. And could be he delivered the baby who is a big rabbi, and he's Rasha. Therefore, you cannot curse Rashaim. My father used to say, this has nothing to do with Og, but in life, when we judge people, sometimes we think we're bigger judges in the world. When we judge people, we have to judge everybody favorably. Why? Because every Jew is like a pomegranate. Even though you take the worst pomegranate, there's 2-3 good seeds there are. You'll find 2-3 good seeds. Comes out, every Jew has 1-2 mitzvot.
Good points.
Brit Milah.
Good points. Brit Milah, Chesed. Guys, Mr. Chavasov sent me 2 hours ago a certain video. It made me cry. How the rabbi is holding Sefer Torah in Ukraine and says, I don't know if I'll make through this war because they're throwing bombs everywhere. And he was saying Shema Yisrael as the last prayer person should be saying. And he says, I have 11 children, It made me cry. I felt so bad for him. Hashem should protect all of them. Ukraine soldiers and Russian soldiers. The worst thing Chafetz Chaim was crying on the World War I is when Jew is killing a Jew. That's terrible. On both sides we have Jewish people. A Jew is killing a Jew, it's terrible. Forget about that. Why war? My mother, 3 days ago, she said something very scary. I was scared. My mom said, didn't we all as a group fought against Corona? Just to survive. Nobody prayed for coming out from Corona to go into to do war and kill people. We all would have died. And now instead of saying, Hashem, thank you, enjoy life. Why should you go and kill people? Money. One more time. You know, it's painful. It's painful that people don't wake up from messages. It's truly painful. Thank you. Good. Thank you, Rabbi. Let's go to Zera Shimshon. Today, Rav Chaim Kanievsky gave bracha, and he said twice a week, at least 5 minutes learn. And we're learning for 40 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes Zera Shimshon. This comes out 5 minutes for every day. Having a bracha of a Gadol Ador, those who learn Zera Shimshon, that all wishes should be fulfilled. We give bracha to everyone. Everyone, that if you're waiting for certain miracles, Hashem should make miracles. Banim zecharim la'avodato yitbarach to all of you. Amen. V'adraba. And on the contrary, yesh mikan ra'aya she'aya gibor. From here we learn actually prove that Moshe Rabbeinu was a strong man. Sha'arei yadanu she'le'olam hakadosh baruch hu oseh ma'aseh nitzim. We know Hashem makes miracles. How? Hayoter keruvim el hateva. Hashem makes miracles that is closer to the nature. Any miracle that is not close to the nature, Hashem does very rarely. Very rarely. More common miracles of Hashem are closer to the nature. Umina raui haya sheyakim Betzalel et hamishkan. Really? It's properly if Betzalel will set up the Mishkan, build the Mishkan. He build it, he should set it up. Shamatchil b'mitzvah omrim la gemor. Someone begins the mitzvah, what do we tell him? Continue, finish it. Velama davka haya Moshe. Why was bedavka Moshe Rabbeinu? Ela vada tzarich lomar. We should say, she'im haya Betzalel hamekim. If Betzalel would be the one, how old was Betzalel that time? 13. Who is 13-year-old here? Do you have 13-year-old boy? Huh? Please get up, Rabbi Gabriel, for a second. Guys, if Moshe Rabbeinu standing near him, who's taller? Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you very much, Rabbi Gabriel. By seeing these, people will remember Shur for next 2 years, at least. If this just would hear till tomorrow morning. I'm not going to be I'm not going to judge everybody differently and say by the time they'll come out from this door, they'll forget the shiur. I'm going to be kav zechut till the morning. 4, 5 feet, and 18 feet, big difference. To make a miracle with somebody 5 feet, it's much harder than somebody 18 feet. He's closer to the miracle. So Hashem said to Moshe, you're the one who will set up the Mishkan and not Betzalel because he's only 5 feet tall. If Betzalel is the one who will set it up, he was not so strong. To make Betzalel set up the Mishkan, it's extremely far away from the nature to make a miracle. Aval, Moshe shaya gibor, Moshe was strong. B'ma'ad nes sagi. If Hashem does a little bit miracle with him, it's enough. Ve'eno kol kach chutz min hateva. And it's not so much far away from the nature. Guys, look at me. You feel you need to open a business. You're scared. Go. Try to pretend as if you're doing something. Try to pretend. Wash floors. Wash, I said kafil? Tiles. Wash tiles on the wall. Wash windows. Pretend you're doing something. How by the end of the day you'll get a couple of $100,000 or maybe a couple of $1,000 you don't know yourself. Hashem says, you just pretend you're doing something. If you have free time, open Tehillim. Hashem will take care of all your customers. And you come with money. Just do something. Pretend as if you're doing something. Try to send advertisements. Try to do something. You do something. Ishtadlut. Ishtadlut achatzi mazal. Your ishtadlut is half of your mazal. Half of your
Luck.
luck. Mazal. Fortune. Ella. She'af kushiyat harosh yesh letarza. But we have to answer the question of the Rosh. Why mention that pasuk and not vatakom et hamishkan? Say vayakom et hamishkan. Why say vayifros et haoel? And he set up the tent. The say he set up the Mishkan, which is harder. Oh, maybe that was miracle, right? Miracle we don't talk about. Here, a closer miracle. Why? Because he's told to set it up. It's easy. אלה שאף קושת הראש של שעיקר הראיה באה מ"ויפרוס את האוהל. The real proof came from Moshe Rabbeinu setting up the tent. שאם לא היה לנו אלא הפסוק ויקום את המשכן, if we would have only the sentence Moshe Rabbeinu set up the Mishkan, tabernacle, הייתי יכול לומר דאין הכי נמי שמשה לא היה גיבור. I would say, of course, Moshe Rabbeinu was not so strong. אלא שרצה הקדוש ברוך הוא שגם הוא יתעסק במלאכת המשכן. Hashem just want Moshe Rabbeinu to be also part of the Mishkan. This is why he has to set it up. It has not to do with him being strong. Just Hashem desired him to build the Mishkan. כמו שהוריד לניסים. How? Where did we see before that people didn't deserve? That Hashem wanted to be part of the deal. When people brought their machatzit shekel, Hashem made Nesim have rocks, right? With man came down those stones. How many stones were there? 12. And here also Kohen Gadol had stones. So all these, כמו שהוריד לניסים מן השמיים, אבני השוהם ואבני המילואים. The Shoam and Miluim rocks, stones. כדי שיביאו, in order they should bring Avhem Eze Davar Lendvat Mishkan. So Hashem said, I'm going to make you included in the deal, so you should bring some of the things to the Mishkan. Maybe Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Betzalel, build it. You just set it up, so you're part of the deal. But he's not strong. What's the proof that Moshe Rabbeinu was strong? Omnam, Ate Shekvar Ktiva Ifroset Haol. But since it says Moshe Rabbeinu set up the tent, Im Ken Kvar Asa Mashu Moshe Chelko. Moshe Rabbeinu did his already portion. So Hashem doesn't need to bring Moshe Rabbeinu to show that he's part of the Mishkan. He's already setting up the tent. ולמה לא הקים בצלאל את המשכן? So why Betzalel did not set up the Mishkan? אלא ודאי מפני שמשה היה גיבור. But in order to show us why Betzalel is not doing it, Moshe Rabbeinu is setting up the Mishkan. Because Moshe Rabbeinu was גיבור. He was strong. The word Gibor we learn from the word Gever. How do you spell Gever? Gimel Bet Resh. Gimel Bet Resh stands for Gamlan, Baishan, Rahman. Mi yichye Gever v'lo yir'e mavet. Which man will live and will not see the face of death? Who is that? Gever, Gimel Bet Resh. Gamlan, who is Gomel Chesed. He does kindness. Not to get something out of it. Kindness in the sake of the kindness. For the sake of the kindness. Bet is Baishan. He is shy. Resh is Rahman. He is merciful. Only these three categories makes man into a man. Human. Mi yichye gever v'lo yir'e mavet. Inam if so, bederech acher. Let's learn it in the other way. Didil me Moshe lo haya gibor. Maybe Moshe Rabbeinu was not strong. V'hadana asenes al de Moshe. But miracle happened to the Moshe Rabbeinu lefi shaya yoter gadol koma me'acherim, because Moshe Rabbeinu was taller than other people. Betzalel was short. He's 13 years old. Moshe Rabbeinu was 4.5 meters. Ubazeh haya hanes yoter kalov el teva. So now, since Moshe Rabbeinu is taller, it's closer to the miracle than Betzalel. Ve'i havanami. Nakat Kroshel Vayakomet Moshe et HaMishkan. But if you would also learn from the pasuk Vayakom Moshe et HaMishkan, Moshe Rabbeinu set up the tent. Hava Shayach Lakshot. Now you could ask Vadilma Arich Vakatin. He was told maybe he was weak. So to teach us, no. Vayfroset HaOhel. Moshe Rabbeinu set up the tent. He was not weak. He was tall and he was gibor and he was strong. I am giving you bracha. We are called Moshe Panim. If we are humble, says Chidushe Harim. Chidushe Harim says if you are a humble man, a certain spark of Moshe Rabbeinu goes to you. You're rich. You're owner of the company. People praise you. You could walk around and say, I am the one who signs the checks. But you're humble. You're humble. You don't lose yourself. Hashem says, I'm going to put Moshe Rabbeinu's spark in you. That's called Moshe Panim. And I give you bracha that all the 4 categories that Moshe Rabbeinu had, Hashem should put in every one of us who listens to the shiur from Zoom, from Biyachat, from life. Baruch Hashem, we have almost full house here today. Now, what are the 4 things? Let's review one more time and then we'll conclude with it. Number 1 was?
Smart,
Let's go by order, people.
wise,
Chacham, wise. Number 2, Gibor, strong. Number 3, Ashir, rich. Number 4, Anav, humble. Who knows what Ashir stands for? Ashir, Ain, Shin, Yud, Resh. Who is rich? Who has 4 things working by him? Guys, Ain is Anaim, your eyes work, you're rich. Shin is Shinaim, your teeth work, you're rich. Yud is Yadaim, your hands work, you're rich. And Resh is Raglaim, if your legs work, you're rich. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen v'Amen. Libi Chanan ben Akashe Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעשות את ישראל. לפיכך, הלווה להם